Hello guys, so in this video we will talk about file handling in Python. So without wasting time, I'm sharing my screen and right now you can see a Jupyter notebook. Okay, so what is file handling? So if you want to open a new text file, read that file, write something into that, overwrite that file, append something new into that, read that line by line, all those things we can do using Python. And combinedly, the term used for that is file handling. So there is a basic function open, read, write, read lines, and so on to do all that kind of operations. So first of all, we need to know what is our current working directory. Current working directory means, so right now you can see we are in a Jupyter notebook and we are writing some piece of code. So right now, whatever piece of code we are writing, it is in a particular directory, and that directory we call it as current working directory. So there are multiple commands which you can use to check that. So the first one is pwd. So you can see this is the current working directory for us. Okay. Again, if you want to list all the file names which are present in this current working directory, then you can write ls, and here you will see all the files which are present over in this directory. Okay. Similarly, there is one more command, that is exclamation mark then dir. It will give you almost similar information. Okay. Now let's talk about file handling. So I'm writing one syntax. There is a function open which is used to open an existing text file. Okay. So I'll write f equal to open, and I'll write some file name, something like I'll write first.txt. Okay. And if I do that, see what it is saying, there is no such file named as first.txt. Why? Because we have used open function and we have just passed the file name. Okay. By default, when you just passed a file name to an open function, it will try to open that existing file in a read mode. Okay. The default is read mode. But if you want to write like use that open function, and if you're using it for the first time and if you want to write into that file, then what you can do f equal to open. I'll write first dot txt comma, and I'll write w plus. What is w plus? It is nothing but a write plus mode. Basically, whenever I write r here, it is a read mode. If I don't write anything, then also it will be default read mode. If I write w, it will be a write mode. If I write r plus, so it will be a read plus write mode. If I write w plus, it will be write mode plus you can do the read operation as well. So for now, since I am opening this file for the very first time, it need to create a file, right? For that, I am opening it in a write mode, and at the same time I am going to read it also at some point of time. So that's why I am writing w plus. So don't get confused. If you want to check about that, you can do shift tab and you will see all the details over here. See, these are the details, and you can see what all values you can pass and what is the meaning of that. Within any Python function, if you do shift tab, you will get to know all the information about that. Here you can see R stands for read mode and it is default. Similarly, W, X, A, B, and so on. So right now I'm doing this. If I do that, now what I'll write, I want to write something into that file. So what I'll see, I'll write f.write and I'll pass some values into that. So what I'll say, this is my first file in Python file handling. Okay. Then I want to go to new line. So \n represents new line character. So this is second line. Then I'll write \n. This is third line. Okay, that's it. If I do that, it returned 83. What is it, 83? It shows how many number of characters you have written into the file. Okay, that's it. Now, if I want to read whatever is shown over here, I can use f.read function. But if I do this right now, it won't show anything. Why? I'll tell you. See, it didn't show anything. There is a reason for that. So consider if there is a file, there is a cursor in that file. So for now, when I opened this file for the very first time, my cursor was at the beginning of the file. Then I did some write operation. Once the write operation is done, so right now after doing this write operation, my cursor is at the end of the file. Okay, and whenever I do the read operation, it will read the file from the current position of the cursor up to the end of file. Okay, so right now my cursor is at the end of file itself because of this write operation. Okay, and after that I am trying to read it, so it is reading nothing because my cursor is at the end and it is trying to read from that point up to the end of file. So it is already an end of file. So if you want to check what is the position of cursor right now, so you can do that using f.tell. If I do this, see the current cursor position is 85. Okay, so that's why. Now what I want to do, I want to put that cursor to the very first position. So for that there is a function that is nothing but f.seek, and I'll pass 0 over here so that my cursor will go back to the 0th position. Done. Now if I do f.read, now it will show you, it will read the whole file from the current cursor position up to the end of file. If I do this, you can see. So that's it, right? So f.read, so read function read the whole file. There are some other functions also. So that is nothing but there is a function that is read line. For that, what I need to do, f.seek 0, again resetting the cursor. Then I am doing f.read line. Okay, if I do this, it will read only one line up to the \n. Okay, because after \n it will go to the second line. If I do the f.read line once again, see, I didn't reset the cursor, right? I'm just doing running the read line once again. If I run it once again, it will read the second line. If I do f.read line for the third time, it will read the third line. And if I do f.read line once again, it will show me nothing because the file is like the cursor is at the end position now. Now I'll again reset the cursor to the 0th position, and I'll show you the new function, that is f.read lines. Instead of read line, I'm writing read lines. What it will do, it will read all the lines of the file and it will store that lines in a list. I'll show you how. See what it returned. It returned a list with each element as each line of that file. So this is how read line works. Now let's assume if because of this read line, I'll check the current position of my cursor. It is at the end, 85. It is at the end of the line. What I'll try to do, I'll do f.write and I'll write one more line. So this is 4th line, and let's see what happens. And I'll write \n. No need of writing \n, that's my habit. Let's see. It wrote 18 characters into the file. Now I need to check whether that 4th line is appended or it overwritten the already existing top 3 lines. Let's check that. So for that, what I'll do f.seek to 0 to reset the cursor to the 0th position, and then I'll do f.read. So you can see it appended that line. And why it happened? Because we are in write plus mode, W plus mode, and before writing this, we confirm that our cursor is at the end position. Okay, so that's why it wrote it. Let's say before writing, what I'll do, f.seek, and I'll put the cursor to the 0th position, and then I'll write f.write, and I'll write something like this is newly written line. Okay, if I do this, let's see what happens. And I'll do f.seek at 0th position, and then I'll do f. read. 1 second. So I reset the sig bar like cursor to the 0th position and then I did the read. See what happened. Now, since our cursor was at the 0th position and then it wrote those 23 characters, you can see the first 23 characters are overwritten. Okay, it didn't append it, it just overwrite it because we are in write mode. So we have to take care of all those things where our cursor is, whether we have opened our file in correct mode, then before reading or writing, what was the position of the cursor. We can check that using tail function. We can move the cursor using sig function. Then we can read, we can write, we can read one line, we can read whole file, we can read all the lines and give the output in the form of list. So all those things we have already seen. Now I'll close the file. After doing all this operation, once you are okay with like all kind of operations you have done, make sure you close the file. Otherwise, it will create a problem. Your file won't be closed properly, so it will be a problem. F.close. Now, if I try to do f.read, it will throw an error saying because whatever file I have opened, I have closed it now. If I do read operation after that, it will say IO operation on closed file, right? So now I'll show you the another example. I'll write f equal to open. Earlier I showed you the example where I have opened the file in W plus mode, that is write plus mode. Now what I'll do, I'll open the same file first dot txt in read mode. Whenever I am not mentioning anything, then it is a read mode. Fine. And if I do that f.read, it is showing me whatever I have written earlier. If I try to do f.write, once I had done the read operation, my cursor is at the end of the file. That we know. F.write, and if I try to write something. So if I write this is, let's say, 6th line, just random thing I'm writing, it will throw an error. Why? Because we have opened the file in read mode. That's why write operation cannot be performed. If you want to open the file in read mode and at the same time you want to write also, then you have an option. I'll do f.close. I'll do the same thing, f equal to open first.txt. Now what else I'll do, r plus, that is a read plus mode. What it means, it will open an existing file. If I write 2.txt, it will throw an error. Why? What is R plus mode? R plus mode will open an existing file in read mode, but at the same time, it will be able to write something into it. But if new file is there, the R plus mode won't work. So I'll change it to first. So it opened. Now if I do f.read, it will read it. If I do f.write, now write will work. So I'll write this is new line which is added in R plus mode. Okay, it worked, and total 42 characters are written because of this command. If I do f.tell, so it is 146. So it is at the end of the file. That's fine. If I do f.sig and add 0, and then what I'll do, I'll write f.read lines. Here you can see all the lines which we have added in the file. So till now we have seen how to open a text file, what are the modes in which you can open a text file, how you can read line, how can you can write line into it, how can read one line at a time, all lines at a time in the form of list, and so on. Now I'll give you some information about f dot. I'll close the file first. Okay, f equal to open and I'll show you what we can do using shift tab. Here you can see there is a read mode, write mode, and create a new file and open it for writing, that is X mode. There is a append mode. Okay, so if you open a file in append mode, it will keep on appending. Okay, then if you want to open a file in binary mode, you can do that. By default is text mode. Plus, I already told you R plus W plus, you can use this plus along with RW, right? And similarly you can use this binary mode also along with R and W. And universal, this is deprecated, so nothing to worry about that. So these are the modes. You can try on your own different stuff. I'll show you one more thing, that is a for operation. So you can read line recursively. So first.txt in read mode only I'll open. Now what I'll do, I'll say for line in F, I'll do print line. So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to print line one by one using this syntax. Let's see whether it works or not. It worked. So this kind of for loop you can use on file. So once you do open operation using this variable F, you can use for loop on that also. For here I have written line, you can write anything, I, X, Y, Z, anything. It is just a local variable there, but logically since it is picking up one line at a time, so I have written for line in F. You can write for I in F or for X in F, anything is fine. And whatever is variable name here, I'm going to print that as it is. Instead of printing, if you want to do some operation on that, you can do that. So we have already dealt with some string operation with upper, lower, different, changing the cases and all those things. So all those things can be done over here. So this was a brief introduction about file handling in Python. So I hope you got some idea from this video and it was some value addition to your knowledge. So if you like it, please hit like button, comment, share, subscribe, do each and everything you can do to encourage me to make such videos. This is Akshay Daga signing off. Thank you. Bye bye.